So you were saying you wrote a blog, was it last week, and then another one this week on Christmas. And do you know a word that that comes up for me a lot of the times that I use a lot, and that I've heard you use probably 3-4 times in the last couple of minutes, is overwhelm.
Yeah, I think that's the word of the month. As much I love December. It's my birthday month as well, and I just love the feeling of it. Cozy afternoons and evenings, and it gets darker earlier, so you just wrap up and you spend more time indoors and put nice candles on. It's got that Scandinavian, feel. But you also have loads of party invites and lots of celebrations, kids clubs, and I can just feel my heartbeat as talking about it. It's just so much.
How do you feel about party invites when you get an invitation to a party?
Well, it depends.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, tell me.
Because sometimes, and this is really interesting, and it's I've understood it better as I've understood my human design. I used to think that I loved big parties and all of this small talk and and as I've gotten older, I've realised that I can't think. Please don't uninvite me to things, by the way, people, because I like being invited. But I can't think of anything worse than a big party where I only know a couple of people. I know a lot of people thrive from that. They're like, oh, I get to meet all these people, I get to network and do all these things. And I'm just like, I cannot think of anything worse than a room full of people and I have to stand there and small talk. I love these conversations one on one. I love being able to sit down with someone and talk about stuff that matters. Not all the time, but But so I'm always almost a bit like not making up excuses why I can't go, but like I much prefer going out for a dinner with like 4, 5, 6 people, where you sit around a table and you can all hear each other and see each other. And yeah. Does
I
that
think it's
resonate?
Yeah, because yes and no. I do like, a good party, but I think it is quite tiring. Do that, like every now and then. It's nice to do that, but I couldn't keep doing it every week or even once a month. It would be quite a lot, and I think it's also because you got so busy that you need to make a decision who you want to spend time with. So do you want to foster good relationships and close relationships and spend time with your loved ones and those who matter, and I think that's this month is definitely about that for me, so I don't want to go out and party, although saying that we're doing a little get together on New Year's Eve because that's my birthday, and we invited another 3 families, but it's going to be friends, so not like a big party. But yeah,
A bit more quality time then, I guess, instead of just a shed load of people that you may not ever see again, kind of thing.
yeah, because you hardly got time to connect with people that you care about. Like we had to rearrange our meetup, didn't we? Even though we really wanted to do it, life just turned and just have to make a decision, and I think set priorities and just make sure that all the children can see some of their friends. It's not just about you or your husband, it's about including them, so maybe socialize with people who got children same age or similar age and friends with yours. That is a big factor too, isn't it?
It's a juggle, isn't it, to make sure that you don't just go no on autopilot to things because you can't be bothered, but you also don't just go yes, yes, yes to everything that you actually don't fancy going to.
Yeah.
So we've been I'm very, do you know what? I said to my husband that the other day, you've rubbed off on me because now I got to Sunday and I thought I've got no plans. I need to be getting out. I need to be, should be. Because he's like this Duracell bunny. He can just go and he does stuff all the time. But actually on Sunday, we didn't have anything we needed to do. We baked gingerbread. We had
Uh,
mulled wine, or like the Norwegian equivalent or Scandi equivalent glögg, which is not alcoholic. You can mix it with red wine if you want to, but we didn't. We watched Christmas shows. We did these like chilled things, and it was amazing. But that obviously comes from saying no to something else, right? So I think trying to cram in too much gets me back to that whole sense of overwhelm, where
mm,
I'm just thinking, I need to be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be, and it's just exhausting.
yeah. And this is when people get ill. And if you cram your weekends, it's like nothing to move, or postpone. And it's like, okay, well, I can't see you now for 2 months. Because,
Yeah, we were supposed to meet up, weren't we? And it's just like, when can you do it now? You know, next year at some point. It's insane. It's insane, isn't it? I'm just not sure how healthy that is. But I was going to go back to your blogs because I said to you, and I read one of your blogs, and I thought, oh yes, please come and talk to me on the podcast about this, because I think that Christmas is a time that can be really, really good, really lovely. You can be with the family, you can chill, all these things. But I think also we're putting so much pressure on ourselves. And then also I think we kind of massively overindulge and then feel guilty about it afterwards, and then just go, oh, I'm going to go on a diet or whatever. What's your sort of how has Christmas been for you growing up? I suppose because you're from Hungary, right?
yeah,
And guess what's the difference to the UK, and how do you try to balance everything? That's a huge question, by the way, but
yeah,
it's
it is.
where do we start?
Well, we're still trying to figure it out because obviously the traditions are slightly different, and we
Mm,
celebrate on the 24th of December. So that's Christmas Eve, and that's been the biggest, like, that is the biggest celebration usually in Hungary, in my family at least. Most people have a family meal, close family, usually some sort of a soup, fish, and another course, some deep fried stuff, pancakes or something like that, and a cake, probably at least 4 course meals. Um, and this is when you exchange presents.
yeah.
Then on the 25th, that I used to go and see my grandparents. My mom's mom, she used to cook another 4 or 5 course meal as well. And then we went to see my dad and his family. So it was a good 3 days worth of celebration, pretty much, um, eating a lot, to be honest, and being together and chilling out with my cousins and playing with the toys and singing songs and listening to music, um, watch TV, Christmas movies, similar. The food is quite different here. And what I try to do, because obviously now I have 2 children and my husband is English, that we try and do like an infused celebration. So the 24th, we will be doing Hungarian traditions and the Hungarian little Jesus who brings the presents. That's a tricky one to explain to your children. Like,
I
okay,
know.
oh, and do you have Saint Nicholas bringing presents as well on the 6th of December when they have to clean
No,
the
I
big?
know they do it in Germany, but not in
Yeah,
Norway. So we have on Christmas Eve we celebrate, and then Santa normally knocks on the door and delivers presents. Yeah,
good luck with that.
so some random neighbor dressing up, um, and you get a random present. But it's for me, it's always been Christmas Eve. To yeah, big dinner and then exchange of presents. And then Christmas Day has always been a time of rest. I remember my mum saying, we stayed home that day. And often we would be given at least one book, so we'd often just sit and read that book on Christmas Day and just eat leftovers because we always cooked so much. So we had this big spread of leftovers and all the pickled herrings and all of the sluice and all of these things. And these wraps made of potato and a bit of flour that you just wrapped your leftover pork in and your mustard, and you just eat all day and chill. So but yeah, presents on the 24th. So what we've done is that when we've celebrated Christmas in Norway, we've kind of gone, Well, Santa goes here on the 24th and then to the UK on the 25th. And, otherwise, how on earth is he supposed to be able to do it all?
Similar story
Yeah,
that we tried to make
yeah.
up. It was just you had to remember every year. What did I say last
Yes, exactly. I know. Yeah, yeah. Don't make it too complicated. Otherwise, there's a bit of a deep hole to dig your way out of, right?
year? Yeah, definitely. So what did you eat then when you grew up?
So growing up, and we still do it here, pork.
Mm,
So kind of pork ribs, but with the crackling.
yeah,
And then just roast potatoes, sauerkraut randomly,
yeah,
and often like some sort of similar sausages go with it, and often a sauerkraut from red cabbage as well, and like Brussels. Um, but often during the day, we'd have rice porridge, and I think this comes from uh, it's like a poor man's food, isn't it? In making
mm,
food of or making porridge, but it's a tradition whereby in one of the portions there's an almond, so it's blanched, so it's white. There's an almond, and I think this is a traditionally you didn't have much money, so only one person could get a treat. So whoever got the one almond in their porridge would get marzipan, piece of marzipan shaped like a
oh,
pig. I do not know why. I should probably look this up. And you can get them like as in chocolate covered marzipan pigs, and that reminds me, I should probably order it because even though my kids are not keen on marzipan, they do like the tradition. There's an online store called Scandinavian Kitchen. They're in London, but I think they send UK wide, and I can order. I think hopefully still a marzipan pig from them.
you could
So we do
make it,
that.
by
I
the way.
could, I could.
It's not
Will
that
I?
hard. I can share, yeah, because I've been testing chocolate bonbon recipes and one with marzipan filling. And I was really, really surprised how easy, literally, ground almonds, icing sugar, a bit of water, some crushed biscuits, and it was done. So you could just shape it. It's the shaping you need. You need
Yeah, it's just well that
pig.
I do have like a cookie cutter that is a pig, I think. Or I've got a polar bear cookie cutter. Surely I can just squint. If we tell everyone to squint, then it might look like a pig.
Wow.
Well, you're giving me a challenge now. And
Just
then
make
with your
little
nutrition
ones.
hat on, or with my nutrition hat on, you know what goes into it then, don't you, if you make it yourself?
Yeah.
But we were here to talk about the overwhelm, taking the overwhelm out of Christmas, weren't we?
Not
Not make our
anymore.
own bloody marzipan pigs.
I know.
So what's on your list then? How do you like? Because one thing is the overwhelm of Christmas, but the other thing is also the massive indulgement fest that is Christmas, and then the insane guilt that comes after.
Yeah.
What
But
do
I
you
think
advise your clients?
Um, I just say to enjoy it, and make sure that they balance out, those bad bad days, as some people refer to, or indulgent days, with some vegetables, some fruit, some wholesome food. So make sure that you include something on the side, or on the table that people can nibble, and that's a healthier option. And I just think not just that okay, if you eat it, you're going to eat it, you might as well enjoy it, because it's pointless eating it. But the other thing is, like, what nourishes you? So what is a treat? So I was thinking about it when I wrote that blog, and I did mention it, that it reminded me of the other blog posts I've written about treats, and how we phrase things. So again, think about it. What is a treat? What you enjoy eating? And can it be made any healthier, or can you just put something next to it? Again, not to exclude stuff, more about what can I include that will be nourishing. So that was one of the things. It's like rephrasing those terms. And I guess your body will also just listen to your body, because you might have 2 days when you just top up with all food, and then you need 2 days off, and you will be eating salad. Your body will naturally just crave some fresh food. That's what I notice anyway. When we have we buy some beef or turkey, whatever the Christmas dinner will be, you just get so full of it that you're not going to want to have all that cooked food and cranberry sauce and whatever. You might have a few glasses of wine, but I just
Mm.
think as long as it's, and also try and make as much as you can instead of buying those ready things. See if you could batch some of the food now, or prepare some food and freeze these. Eat some good stuff now, so prepare your body, like make sure there's, you're topped up on vitamins, so you're actually healthy and not in bed with the virus. Although yes, you can't avoid it, but you could kind of make sure that your body's in the best shape it can be to fight it off.
That's great advice. That's really great advice. I love that. Do you know, when we go to Norway, we can't really get it here. I think maybe you can get it, but it costs like an arm and a leg. We, on the 23rd of December, which we call Little Christmas Eve, because why not? And
I
then
like
the
that.
22nd is the teeny weeny Christmas Eve. But on Little Christmas Eve, the 23rd, we tend to, for Norway, we have sort of salted ribs of lamb. So they've been salted. That's how they've been preserved. And you have them in a water bath for a long time to sort of desalt them, and then you steam them for a long time, and then you have them with like mashed swede and again potatoes, because yeah, so nice, so nice. But then you go have that on the 23rd, and then you have your pork on the 24th, and then because my husband is English like yours, on the 25th we have turkey.
Okay.
And then it comes to the 26th, and that's his birthday. Does he want leftovers on his birthday? I mean, he probably wouldn't mind, but then I try to do something special for his birthday. And come the 22nd, no, 27th, I'm ready to be a vegan.
And I don't
That's
blame
it. I
you.
am done. But that's
Me
what you said.
too.
Listen to your body, because come the 27th, I am done with meat. And
Yeah.
instead of then just carrying on, I'm listening to them and honoring that cry for, you know, less
Mm,
fatty food and more kind of lean stuff.
yeah.
And I go with it.
So you could just make sure that you add all these vegetables to your shopping list now. I think that's one of the main thing, is being prepared and writing a list. And that's what I try to do on Sunday. And this is why I've written another post about this, because I thought we need to extend on just the food, because it's so much more. The overwhelm comes from not just the food. You need to buy all the presents, you need to clean your house, you need to clean the windows, and all the stuff. Just if you're going to have guests, even if you don't, you want to celebrate in a nice clean environment. So what was I going to say? Got tangled
Well,
up
I
in that.
see everyone's already. No, but be prepared. Organize things in advance. What can
Oh
you
yes,
organize in advance
oh,
then?
the shop. So yes, so the list, yeah. So I've written a list. We got birthdays as well and everything else. So on top of that, you got lots of presents to sort out. Cards to send, if people still send cards. I don't know, my children will probably still do that. So I just
Yeah.
try to think and like dump all these tasks on a piece of paper and then organize it, like what is causing me anxiety. Because one of the things is to get the presents. Two is deciding on the meal plan. So who is coming here? When are we going where? When do I need to cook? And what recipe? So that's like, then I thought, okay, I want to look up some traditional Hungarian recipes. I want to do something different, something traditional, but something nice, lots of vegetables. So I looked up some recipes and I've written a sort of shopping list. But then I thought, okay, you can't buy all the stuff ahead. However, you could have a list, and you could certain stuff like tin tomatoes and food that will last, you could buy now, and it will make it a bit cheaper as well, I think, nearer the time, to just, instead of pushing 3 trolleys at once at Tesco,
Exactly. Spreading the cost and,
you
and
would
the
spread
stress.
it
Yeah.
off. Yeah. And another thing I did, after I've done that list, I cleaned my cupboard, my food cupboard, and I looked at the freezer and the fridge. And I know it takes a lot of time, but I do this with my clients as well. And I always say to them, you need to look through that, because there are stuff there, food that's expired. things that you will not want to eat anymore because might be some rubbish or junk that you no longer want to consume after spending a few consultation with me.
Exactly.
You know better now, but just looking through, and I organized it. Now I know I need to pick up. I know I got enough flour probably for 2 years. But you know, things like that. And then I also found some mince pie filling I got last year. So great, I don't need to make it. I used to make that, but that's going to take the overwhelm away as well. So make a list, clean it all out, see what you have, what can you use up, and can you spread the cost and spread the shopping and do it in bits.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
think that
great.
that's something that what would you recommend? How do you do it?
I'm just sitting listening to this thinking, I need to sort out my pantry. I've got this thing under the stairs. It's packed full of stuff, and I've completely lost overview because there's been more of us, putting things in, taking things out. Um, I think I've got a cranberry sauce in the fridge that is unopened, that I think lasts till 2025, but I need to check because this is what happens, isn't it? We just end up double buying things.
Yeah,
And then we end up with too much stuff in the house, and then you feel guilty about having too much stuff because you need to eat it, and then because food waste is such a biggie for me as well.
yeah,
I try to very much limit. So there is this tradition in Norway. I'm not sure a lot of people do it anymore, but it's like you have to bake 7 different types of cookies before Christmas, or for Christmas rather. Yeah, I know because I
wow.
don't know who used to eat all those
Why
cookies,
7?
those biscuits. Yeah, so but this year we done gingerbread because that's the one thing that everyone's going to eat. Everyone
Mm,
enjoys making it, apart from me maybe, but the kids enjoy making it. I just find it like the dough is never ending, isn't it? You can make
yeah,
batch after batch. Oh gosh, it's never ending. But I make one thing, and then we do that. And that takes the stress away. And I'm just also thinking like I love mince pies, but I don't have to have it. I don't think I've ever made it actually. I don't have to have it. And my sister-in-law does this thing where um makes Yorkshires in advance and just freezes them, and then she just brings them to us on the day, and then we just reheat them. So that's one less thing you have to do on the day.
yeah. That's a good idea. However, do you have space in your freezer to do that? So that was my
Well,
other tip.
yeah,
To
I
make sure that you got enough space because it's you can batch cook in advance if you have the time and capacity. And also if you do decide to buy a big turkey or a big joint, you could freeze it. So instead of having the same thing, or when you feel like so overwhelmed by and like full of the meat, you could just portion it out and put it in the freezer, label it all up, and then you don't feel guilty about the food waste, and you don't feel like you forced to eat that. You could just have something fresh or something different.
yeah, I'm trying to empty my freezer at the moment. So I'm making, because I always get a whole chicken, and then I
Mm,
make roast chicken, and then I make chicken broth, and then I have chicken
or
broth
carcasses.
everywhere. Yeah, I've got
But
it everywhere in the freezer. So I'm making quite a, and I found pumpkin puree there the other day from Halloween. So
I have
I
that.
made pumpkin soup. Yeah, I know, like with chicken stock. I made that the other day. So I've gotten rid of 2 boxes in the freezer. So trying to make space in general, because it's also nice to be able to have that flexibility of, if something is too much, I can just pop it in there. I haven't wasted any food, which also wastes money. And I don't have to eat it now because I am frankly sick and tired of meat. I can have it for later. It's great. It's great advice. Going through, I mean, we got so many jars in the fridge that surely must be, going off. So yeah, having a little clean up, spending an hour just going through, okay, what do I need, what do I not need, am I ever going to use this? If it's in date, there might even be a food bank that will take it if the food is in date. And you think, "Do you know what, I'm not going to eat this, somebody else can benefit from it." And I also bet I found something the other day that was like best before 2021. I'm like, okay, this is just ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
yeah. So
But
that's great advice. I like that. I like that. What
this
do people
helps
say then when
helps
you
me.
when you when you tell people to clean out their cupboards after a few consultations? Is it hard for people to get rid of the junk?
Um, I think sometimes, well, the recent ones, we're quite happy to make some space.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were the same, like, oh, 2020, like, ooh, what's this?
I know.
So yeah, I think it's good because also it gives you ideas for a meal plan. So that's the
Yeah,
other thing. How do you meal plan? That's one of the biggest ones. And I keep changing the way how I do it. I created a spreadsheet that's kind of printed out and it's stuck on my fridge. So we have it all written down. We got like an activity space for activities or any appointments on top, so you can see when is someone out, or we might need an earlier dinner because we have football training, etc., all the logistics of being a mom.
yeah,
And then you got the food. So it just it's so easy to just do the same thing and cook the same stuff, but if you go through your cupboards and your freezer, it gives you some ideas, like, just, oh, okay, I haven't made lasagna for ages and it's like one of the staples and I love it and the kids love it. It's an easy one. You have probably a few portions of bolognese in your freezer. You could just use that for that, use it differently. But it just gave me loads of ideas instead of sitting down and like, okay, what do I want to cook next week? Um, that gave me tons of ideas. And also sitting down with your family and just ask what they want to eat and how they want to spend Christmas. So instead of thinking that you got to sort it all out, like, I often think that it's, my sole responsibility as a mom to be in charge of it all. I think it's important to ask them and give them option, and also um, delegate some stuff that you can.
yes,
They're more
yeah.
than capable of cooking a meal,
I'm
coming up with something.
I'm really bad at that because I'm not as organized as you, and I also don't really follow recipes. I'm just like, oh. So then when I if I'm then supposed to teach my children how to do anything, I'm a bit like, oh, it's just easier if I do it myself. But actually, it's easier now. But maybe in the long run, it's going to be
Yeah,
harder because they haven't learned to take responsibility. And I keep saying to myself, I need to actually teach them how to do stuff so that they're able to,
yeah,
and when they do take part, they love it.
yeah,
So, yeah, I've been inspired by you as well, though, because you do the cooking on a Thursday with your kids, don't
mm,
you?
yes, yeah.
Can you?
That's
That's
been
good.
quite.
That's totally got nothing to do with Christmas, but can you please share that with anyone listening? Because I think it's so inspiring.
Yeah, so we started, I think it was end of August. I decided that I would spend every Thursday afternoon cooking with them. Mainly because I quit my corporate job, so now I'm focusing on my business and family, so I have the time and space. And also that's the day when they don't have any classes, so we don't need to rush anywhere. And I was just thinking, okay, how could I get them off their Nintendos and how could we spend time together? And also how could I carry on with my task and create a dish because you still have to pick them up from school. By the time you give them a snack, and you might have 45 minutes to sit back down in front of your laptop or do something, go on a call, and then you have to prepare dinner. Unless you batch cook, then it's all ready there.
Mm.
So I try to get the two together, spending time together. I'll kind of tick two tasks as well, and cook a meal. And then I thought, okay, they are 9 and 11, nearly 12, two girls I have, and why don't I teach them to cook properly? But it's not just how to make a bolognese or how to make bread. It's more about education on, yeah, we talk about food waste. They try different seasonings and flavors. We grow herbs, so it's how to use that, and it's more like the life skills, not just like, okay, let's make a recipe or follow a recipe and we are done. That's not what I want to do, because they can just grab a recipe book or go on YouTube and do it themselves. It's more about food safety, food hygiene, how to use the oven properly, what not to touch. What
Mm.
utensil gets hot when you put it on a saucepan, for example, all the metal handles. We talk about that. What happens when you burn yourself? I can't
Oh,
quite.
ouch!
I know. Um, so I started writing it down as well. and all my observations, and it's really interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I guess it's a nice journey to see what they came up with. And also my 9-year-old, she remembers loads. Both of them remember a lot of things that I told them before, because obviously I've been cooking with them from day one. Like as soon as they could hold a wooden spoon, they were helping me in the kitchen, and they were really interested. And you think of their children, they're not interested, or they might not remember, but they did. And I noticed that when one of their friends come around on a Thursday, and I say to them, oh, actually we're cooking with mummy, do you want to join in? And they take over my role. So we were making a paste. What were we making? I think we made empanadas the other week, so they were making the pastry. And Mia was telling her friend how to hold the mixing bowl and what to do, what with the butter, and how to melt it. And I thought, oh, I'm really impressed actually, because this is like a test, isn't it? That you can do it without me. I'm just there to guide you. It's also great for them to see how much work goes into it, and
Yes.
how they also feel empowered that you can do it. It's not rocket science unless you want to do proper cordon bleu, whatever, and Master Chef style food. But it's good for me to know as well that they will be able to make an omelette or a jacket, anything that they want, even like a soup or a stew. They will know where to start.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I got a long way to go. Do you know, it's one of those things that I just haven't included them in, and it sounds insane because I cook every day. But it's like I just go bish bash bosh, put something, not put something together. I know what I'm doing, but it's just, yeah. You've inspired me. I need to. I want to, because as you say, you empower them. They're going to be grown ups. You want them to be able to nourish themselves, right? You want them to be able to cook from scratch, whenever possible.
Yeah, and I think I've been putting it off to do it in a structured way like this for a while, because just like you, I saw it as it's a big task. But some weeks they are not in the mood. So you just have to accept that some weeks they might spend an hour with you, or even an hour and a half, and then they start doing their own thing. Because sometimes we cook a meal and Mia loves the whole process that much that she will get another mixing bowl and decide to do something else. She's inspired by it, and she will want to carry on and make a dessert, and that's fine. But some weeks, all they do is lay the table for me, get the ingredients out. We discuss the food. They might just peel me some vegetables, and I accept it. So I had to reduce it to, or be, I guess, flexible, that it's not always the 45 minutes full on class. You can't always do that, whatever we can fit in. But they still learn. It's still keeping their routine going, that they know that this is coming and we do this, even if they learned one thing, or even if it was just for connecting with me for 10 minutes, being in the same room, telling me about their days, and then off you go, have a shower, come back and help me more, or do the dishwasher. Just be around and be aware of what tasks need to be done and how we share it in the house.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Share it in the house because you're a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking to myself saying this, by the way. I'm talking just as much to myself.
But
Yeah, I need to crack on with this.
so why don't you just split it down? Even if it's just asking, what dishes you want to eat, help me plan it, or help me write a shopping list. This is why I say usually to people or families that I work with, can you get them involved, even if they are tiny? Because
But
they
if I
can.
ask my daughter who's got some food issues what she wants for dinner, I get 1 out of 2 replies. I get pizza or I get fish and chips.
Okay. And what do you
So
cook then?
those have to be banned words. If I ask her what should we do for dinner, I always have to say, apart from pizza and fish and chips, what do you want? And then she goes, I don't know. But I have managed to get her to like sweet potato. So yesterday I made sweet potato, butternut squash. I found my pumpkin puree and chicken stock soup with red split lentils and coconut milk.
Nice.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah, with a lot of bread on the side, but
You
she
can't
ate it.
complain then.
No, I know. I know. I mean, that's a biggie, right? But if you ask her, if you give her the option, she'll go for fish and chips or pizza.
Mm. So does she get involved in the kitchen at all? Does she help
Um,
you with,
she
you
likes.
know?
Do you know what we've gotten her for Christmas? We got her some good so kids sort of chef knives.
Mm,
Because she so on a Friday I will often do like very simple tacos. I literally get those boats or the taco
mm.
shells, and we do an awful lot of different chopped vegetables. She will choose minimal amounts. She would have cheese and cucumber if she gets her way. But I just chop up all the different vegetables and I just get a tin of black beans out, and she has one black bean. But she loves helping to, grate the cheese and cut the vegetables and set the table and all of those things. So she's got a knife already, but I'm getting her a better quality one that is a little bit sharper. But she's got those knives that I think is from like called something like Kinderküche, some German stuff where
I think
you
I've seen
can't
that, yeah.
actually,
Mm.
yeah, you can't
We
actually cut
put
yourself
them
on them.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's old enough to sort of um to move on to more proper knives, but she loves doing that kind of stuff.
See, you could just, this just reminds me of my corporate job actually, because I run a big team, and this is a really random association. But when you manage a team as well, you got people with different skill set and different passions, and I think teamwork works really well if you honor that and you challenge people, but you allow them to be in that space. It's the same with families or these situations. So this is kind of teamwork if you think about it, and just ask and honor what she likes to do. If she loves being in the kitchen to chop the vegetables or help you prepare, let her do that. And then she sees you while you could carry on doing your own stuff, but she might see you doing other tasks, and she might one day picks up something else. It's just not trying to force them to do something that they really do not want to do, or something that will mean that they will resent being in the kitchen or around food. And this is why I also find really challenging, because that can change sometimes, week by week or month by month, especially if you have children who are really stubborn, like mine, or fussy
I've got a
eaters,
couple.
and all that stuff. So just see what works, and that's an easy option. You can give the vegetables for her to chop. Your other daughter might help you laying the table, or putting dirty pots into the dishwasher, or emptying the dishwasher. I don't know. Think about the
Mm.
task that you do. How could you share it out? And I know this is going back to really basics, and it does require you taking a step back, um, letting go of control,
I
which
was
is
literally about to say that, which is hard.
and the time, because it takes more time.
Yep.
Um, but trust me, honestly, since September, and it's only December, it it has massively changed things in the kitchen, and they are more open to trying food. Even my fussy eater, um, they want to do it. Not every week, but they will want to do some of it, and we'll just have to build on it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not running a full-on cookery school here. Um,
Yeah.
it's just thinking about why I'm doing it and what do I want to give them with it. And you doing the same. But if you want to involve them, you want them to eat wholesome food. You want to pass on your passion for food and the connection. So this is another thing we haven't talked about, but I think we touched on it on the previous podcast. All this Christmas eating together. It's not just Christmas, to be honest, but always it's creating that space so you can connect with your family and friends. So it will nourish you. Not just the food will nourish you, those conversations and those connections, and
Yeah.
that comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did talk about that in the podcast previously about how food isn't just in quotation marks good or bad. It's also what kind of cultural background you come with and what the food means historically to you as
Mm,
a family, as a nation, as a culture, and all of that, and or how it can bring you together. All of that matters. It's not just like how many grams of vitamin C is in your pepper, let's say, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you should think about when you eat with your family, eat those nice juicy meats and roast potatoes made with fat or whatever.
Mm. Yeah, that's that. I love that. And I wonder also whether, going back to Christmas a little bit, whether the whole cooking with your children and incorporating some of that, that could be a nice activity for Christmas as well. And saying, "Would you know this needs to be done for Christmas? This is what we would like to do. This is they stand this and this day. What would you like to contribute with when all
Mm,
of these things need to be done? What do you think will be something where you can really shine, or what you would enjoy doing?" Because it shouldn't just be down to one person to make sure that everyone's got a good Christmas, right?
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
I think that's the key.
excellent. Yeah. Can you share with me the link to those blog posts you've written
Mhm.
so that
Yeah.
people can have a read? I think there was some really good advice in there about planning, maybe stacking some habits. It's like I listened to this podcast years ago where this woman was saying, okay, so you drink a lot of coffee, you need to drink more water. So what do you do with every cup of coffee, before you have another one, you have to have a glass of water. Just
Yeah.
stack your habits. You eat
Yeah.
a mince pie. Okay, so with that mince pie, have a piece of fruit or have a couple of nuts, or and again have a
Yeah.
glass of water. You
Yeah.
know, do you
My
have
mom,
to have mulled
yeah.
wine? Can you
Yeah.
have green tea sometimes?
Exactly. My mom always had, and now I understand why, she always had a nice glass bowl full of nuts, different types of nuts on the table. Sometimes also another one with dried fruit. And I kind of thought, why do you leave it out? But then you walk past it and just have a piece. And
Yeah,
it's healthy stuff. So you could do the same, like prepare or intentionally. Okay, you might have I don't know, some nice cakes on the table, but you could put a nice apple there or make like a fruit salad or something else to give the options, or two together. If you have like a cinnamon swirl, can you have a few pieces of raspberry with it?
yeah. Exactly like that. So you balance things out a little bit, because it's not an all or nothing approach to this thing, is it? It's just about, and it's not like no one's trying to take Christmas away from you, but like where can you balance things out a little bit to also not feel completely sluggish in the new year, right? Because this, I think, is also why a lot of people go, right, the new year's here, new body, new me, new everything, and then you start from
Yeah.
absolute zero because you've been stuffing your face all Christmas, and then I feel like you can only fail if you're trying to go completely 180 within space of like a day.
Yeah.
So trying to sort of incorporate some healthy habits in between all the mince pies and all the whatever else you're eating, and the nut bowl is great. And um what might be really good as well is to have the nuts with their shells. So you have to crack the nuts because
Yeah.
that requires some effort as well. Because otherwise, grabbing a handful of nuts, it's a lot of calories in there. So, and I know you and I don't like counting the calories, but there's a lot in there. It's easy to then overeat on even the good stuff, isn't it? But having a
Yeah.
nutcracker and
We
having
have
that as a
that.
bit of a
Yeah.
ritual,
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
We also have
that's quite
lots
nice.
of lots of easy peelers and stuff like that on the table. And I always say to the kids, help yourselves, just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, having things available.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely, because then you don't, and this is the thing about the dry January as well, how you mentioned. I thought, oh God, who is doing that dry January this year? I did it a couple of times, I think, a few years ago, and I just think, again, what do you think about it? Because
I find it hard when I'm being told not to do something.
mhm,
I find I almost want to like rebel against it.
like a
So
treat, isn't it? It's the
yeah, yeah. So I just try to live in moderation generally.
yeah,
And then, yeah, I might be slightly stricter for a few days. As I often do these phytonutrient cleanses where for 10 days I'm stricter. But it's not like you can't have, you can't have, you can't have. It's like a guideline. Try to work within these guidelines. Um, because I've done it a few times. I know that my body responds to it. I know that it loves it. I know that I feel really good doing it. So it's kind of, it's easy to, to get on board with it because I know the benefits. But I think in general, depriving yourself over a long period of time of something, I remember once after my second daughter was born, I cut out caffeine as part of this cleanse I was on for 6 weeks.
Mm.
Um, and I was like counting down the days that I can have coffee again. Whereas now, I just have 1 cup a day.
Yeah.
I just reduced it. And if I want anything else, I have a cup of tea or I have like a
Decaf.
Swiss water wash decaf.
Mm.
Um, and that's it.
Yeah.
Instead of like binge drinking coffee when I finally was able to have it again. So I'm not so keen on it.
Yeah.
I'm not so keen on the all or nothing approach, to be honest with you,
No.
because I feel like it's a long way down. You can fall a long way down.
Yeah. I think it's better to look at it, and this also goes back to the Christmas thing. If you look at it, that it's not just one day what you consume, but in a week or in a month, that can be, I guess, a good thing and a bad thing. If you've been binge eating for a month, then okay, maybe I do need some time off. But if you kept it balanced over a week, let's say, then it's just easier to look at it then. You know what I mean? Like instead of just saying
Mm.
that today or this month I'm going to take it all out, let's look at it as a like more of a holistic and like a longer period of time, because all these little habits, having it for a long period of time, will build up. So when
Mhm.
you're talking about build habits, it's a lot better for you long term than just saying
Yeah,
I'm not going to have any alcohol in January, or limiting yourself to do something or not to eat something, but then for the other 11 months you will drink 5-6 times a week, so it's kind
yeah,
of pointless instead of, yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's called lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think if
Mm.
you have a good enough diet now, then it shouldn't really be a big problem what you're going to eat over Christmas for 2 or 3 days, because your body will be craving the right stuff anyway. It will
Yes,
tell you
exactly.
what you
And that
need.
goes back to
So
what you said earlier by listening to your body
yeah,
and just honoring what it needs. As I said, I'm like, come 27th of December, I'm like, yeah, just give me all the veg. Not that I don't eat veg during Christmas, but it is becomes a bit meat heavy, and I'm just like fish or lentils, anything like that. Just bring it on. And
yeah,
I listen to my body instead of then just stuffing my face with even more meat. It goes in the freezer. Oh, or I make like a curry, let's say, a turkey curry, put it in the freezer, and then it's ready for when I can't be bothered one day.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So much good
yes.
advice, Vicky.
Mm.
So much good advice. I've loved
So we should,
seeing you as well because you've got that turquoise background and a lovely yellow jumper on, and your hair, which has got red to it. It's like this. It's so full of contrasts. It's been,
colorful. Yeah, I know it's
yeah,
such a dull day as well, so I had to cheer myself off
yeah. It's
with a nice
miserable down
jumper.
south as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I like your
really
new
miserable.
office too. It's really
Oh yeah,
pretty.
yeah. The plant, yeah, the
Mm,
plant there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's good. And I pretend I'm on this beach in my background.
really
Yeah,
calm.
it's really miserable. So we've got to create a bit of happiness inside our houses around Christmas, but take the stress away. Um, I know I just think, yes, it's nice to have a lovely, clean, tidy house for Christmas, but my goodness, if it's that or your mental health, then just let it be a bit messy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. On that note, thanks so much, Vicky.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good Christmas.
Merry Christmas.